All right, this is for our kids club for June 20th, and everybody should have picked up one of these little kits. And if you open it up inside, there's 3 different projects in here. And you can kind of just set them to the side, because the first thing you're gonna need is some newspaper or an old tablecloth or something underneath so that you don't get the table all messy. And the first project we're gonna do is gonna be this flower, and you can put a magnet on the back so that you can hang it up. So you need to get out a cardboard piece that looks like this, and you have an envelope that says a flower on it. It could be blue or red, yellow, or purple. So you need to get those out, and that'll be our first project. You'll also need some school glue, and if you have a plate, a paper plate, or a lid, or something that you can just throw in the garbage when you're done, that's the best way to do it. And just stuff a bunch of glue on there. So inside you have your different color flowers, and this one here is an example of the purple flower, and the one I'm gonna do is a red flower. You wanna pull all the tissue paper out of the envelope, and the next thing you're gonna do is we have to make a bunch of little tissue paper balls. So take one piece of tissue paper, you kind of have to separate all the pieces. And if you have a hard time with that, you can have a grown-up come and help you. But the more pieces you have, the more you have to put on your flower. If you do one big giant blob all together, you won't have very much tissue paper. So you're just gonna make a bunch of balls. And we're gonna pause the video so that you guys can make all kinds of balls, and then when you're ready, just turn it back on. So after you have made all of the little balls of paper, you can kind of pull out the yellow ones. If you got a yellow flower, then you might have orange for the middle instead of yellow. So you can kind of pull those out, and the rest just put in a big pile and mix them all up. So that way, when you go to put them on your flower, it'll just be really random and kind of look nice that way. So you're gonna use your little dish of glue, and what you're gonna do is start with the center and just dip and then put the little tissue paper balls on your flower. You want to start right in the middle and make a nice center for it. All done with that. It's gonna want to curl up a little bit, so it's nice to just set it somewhere. And then if you have a heavy book or a plate or something, you can just set it right on top of there so that it dries nice and flat. And then when it's all dry, it'll look like this. And in your kit, you'll have a little magnet, and it has a sticky back on it. All you do is turn it over, put it right in the back, and then you can hang it on your refrigerator. The next project you're gonna do is the tree, and it's gonna look like this. It's kind of a spring tree. Things are starting to blossom on there. So everybody probably got different looking branches, and that way, if you have a sibling that's doing this project too, yours will look different. So we're gonna do a little bit of the same thing. We're gonna pull out your tissue paper, And if you used all your glue like I did, you want to put a little bit more on your plate. And then you're gonna start to make the balls again with the tissue paper. And you can go ahead and do that and pause the video and then come back when you're done. Kind of mix them all up again, and that way it's all random. And now, you can put these on your tree anywhere you would like. Maybe on the end of a branch, even if they're not on the end of a branch, that's okay. I like to start by filling all the end of the branches first, and then if I have more left over, then I'll kind of just put them wherever looks good. So go ahead and work on that. Give you lots of pieces, so you should be able to have all kinds of pretty leaves on your tree. And then you want to set that aside to dry. All right, the last project we're going to do is a rain scene, and this one is kind of fun because each umbrella is a different warm color umbrella. This one here is the color wheel, and this one over here is cool colors. So we're going to learn a little bit about our colors today. And the first thing you're going to want to do is to color the little kids here. You're also going to need the envelope that says umbrellas on it. And then your sheet of paper that looks like this. And when you're coloring, you can use markers, you can use crayons, and you can use color pencils, whatever you want to do the coloring with. I like markers because they're kind of bright, but what you can also do is color their clothes with the markers. And I kind of like to use a color pencil or a crayon to do coloring really big areas like the sky or the rain down here at the bottom. So down here you can kind of shade it a little bit even if you want to make it look like a puddle. And then you can even just take a crayon and just color little bits down here. Turn it on its side, and you can do the same thing up in the sky up here. And you can color right over the top of the umbrellas too, because we're going to put pieces of paper on those, so it'll cover that up. So we're going to pause the video so that you can color your picture. So when you're all done coloring, we're going to get our envelope that says umbrellas on it and take out the triangle or pie pieces that are inside. Now if you're little and you just want to put your umbrella pieces down and have it look however you want, that's fine. But if you're interested in learning the color wheel, or maybe you already know it, then you can follow along with the next part. So we're going to start with this umbrella in the middle, and this one we're going to make the color wheel on it. So we're going to pick out our primary colors. You're going to need to find a blue, probably the most blue that you can find. And you're going to need to find a yellow. This one's closest to true yellow, and one for red. I'm going to pick this one for my red. And now each one of these little umbrellas has a little dot right in the center. And before I glue anything down, I'm going to want to make sure I get all my colors on here first. So our color wheel is going to start out kind of like this. There's going to be a space in between each one. So those are our primary colors, and now we're going to put on our secondary colors. And we're going to do this color right here. So we need to know what red and yellow make. And that's going to be orange. So I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to go with this one. Let me use this one for my orange color. Put it right here. And then right in this spot is going to be what blue and yellow make. And that's going to be green. I'm going to use this one. And then blue and red are going to make purple, and I'm gonna use this one. So that's gonna be my color wheel umbrella. And what you're gonna do next is use a glue stick. You can use an Elmer's glue stick, and if you don't have one of those, you can use some of the school glue, but you don't need a whole lot on there. I'm gonna just kind of move my umbrella over to the side like this. I'm just gonna put glue all around the umbrella here. I'm gonna start, I'm gonna glue the red right up at the top, and my orange, and yellow, green, blue, and my purple. They should fit pretty close together. If they don't, you can kind of move them around a little bit until they do. And that is the color wheel right there. So over here on this side, I'm gonna do warm colors. And warm colors are going to be reds and yellows and oranges. So if I split my color wheel in half, it's gonna be these three right here that are gonna be my warm colors. So I'm gonna pick out a yellow, and I've got two different yellows, and I have two different orange. Put those up there, and then my reds. And you have some extra pieces, so if you want to put some pinks in there too, those would also be warm colors. So I have one piece too many, which is fine. I'm gonna decide I want to not put in this orange. I'm gonna put in these colors, just like this. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna move that up to the side. Down some blue. So now I'm gonna do my cool colors, and that's gonna be this half of the color wheel. So those are gonna be blues, and I have two different blues, and greens, two different greens, and purple. And it looks like I have three different purples, and I gave you some extra colors too in case you wanted to not do the color wheel and change it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna pick two of these purples. I want this one. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Now the fun part of this project is getting to put raindrops on here. If you can see, I put glue on here, and when it dries, it looks like there's raindrops on it when it moves in the light. So to do that, you need to go back to your Elmer's glue or your glue bottle. And this part, you get to just put big glops of glue wherever you want. You're just gonna start by making big drops all over. When you're done with that, you're gonna take your picture and you're gonna hold it like this. Start to drip. And after you think they have dripped enough, you don't want them to go off the paper, then you can lay it down and you can let that dry. And if you think you need more raindrops on there, you can go ahead and put some more on there too. Just be careful not to put them too close to the bottom so that they have room to kind of drip towards the bottom there.